Welcome to Breakthrough Conversations with Coach Pete, and I'm Gloria Leibecker. And today, let's explore the concept of how do you engage with conflict and maintain integrity with it, or integrity within yourself. And it's something that will take a lot of people out because even the idea of conflict, people will have kind of a pause or a withdrawal. I guess some people might posture in to, approach it, but yeah, there's a lot that can come up when there's a perception of conflict enters the room or the environment. What are your thoughts on that, Coach Pete?
Yeah, I think too many of us too often, really run from conflict or avoid conflict. It's kind of a natural, I guess, kind of a natural thing, this fight or flight kind of feeling about conflict. Yet you could say it's my experience that it's facing through the conflict that we really can learn a lot. Because life is filled with conflict. You can't live a life without it, right? We might try to avoid it, but when you avoid it, you miss an opportunity often to learn and to real. There's that phrase: "The way out is through." The way out of a difficulty or pain or problem is through it, not around it, not avoiding it, but through it. In other words, I take that to mean facing it, observing it, learning from it, and getting through it.
Yeah, even recognizing it. When you think about conflict, it has a tension to it. And when there's a tension, then there's many people feel uncomfortable with attention. In my experience, our culture is one where everybody just wants things to be easy. They just want to be in the flow. They don't want conflict. And yet when there's conflict, that tension is there. And so when we can actually develop our capacity to abide in the tension without making it right or wrong, there's where we can actually learn something new instead of making assumptions about the tension or about the conflict, because any of our assumptions, they're all going to be from our past. When we can actually be present in the face of stress, we can begin to recognize things that we didn't before. And that is truly learning and what learning's about. And when we can apply what we learn, so we can stay present even when, oh, I'm uncomfortable. So now all of a sudden I'm paying attention with intention to notice what I notice, and I'm open to seeing something new. I'm applying what I've learned to have a little bit more success, and that encourages me to continue on that path rather than making assumptions from my past about the tension. And that's a whole new world.
It is. And that's where the learning is. If we face it, that could be conflict from individuals. Sometimes we run into people that we conflict with, different points of view, different ways of being, different ways of thinking. And too often, I think we just avoid that person or that thought instead of listening,
Mm.
taking it in, having an interchange of ideas. We lose out a lot when we just run from people and difficult situations and conflict or pain. I mean, not that anybody wants to wallow in pain or difficulty. There are people we may not want to be with, and that's okay if we've given it a real opportunity for learning and sharing. And okay, I'll move on with my life. You're not going to be part of it. There's nothing wrong with that if we've learned from it, if we've faced it a bit. Um, I think there's real learning in that
Yeah,
growth.
and we can have that same experience just within our own sense of self, depending on what it is we're making something mean. When we can slow down and we can begin to recognize even what internally we're making something mean, we can slow down and then see with observation, is that true? Or is this just my pattern that I tend to run when this tension arises in me? Because,
Right.
yeah,
Because that's how we learn to be is through the experiences of life, good and bad, tension and peaceful. And again, that's how we learn. And it's so good. I think you have a great point of looking inside What's going on with us? What am I avoiding? What am I not taking a look at? What am I not learning from my own experience? I
Yeah.
know that's been true of me. I've had situations where I was repeating patterns, like in work, in my career, and I just wasn't aware of it. I didn't take a look at the pattern and what it meant. What was I running from? What was I not facing? What was I avoiding? And it can be really powerful to face into it and then make some decisions about yourself, about how you're going to handle things.
Yes, because, well, one thing that is very true is tension always seeks resolution. And so when the tension is seeking resolution, one of the ways that human beings resolve tension is by compensating for whatever the tension is. Whatever I've made it mean, then I attempt to compensate, or I attempt to fix or change up something rather than actually being really honest with myself and recognizing the truth of it. So when I can recognize attentions come up and here I am operating this pattern again, that's my compensating strategy that I use. That is how I endure the conflict, or it's how I dismiss the conflict, how I avoid the conflict, how I hide from the conflict, even from myself, when I'm not even aware that I'm doing it. So it's very unconscious. It's not like people are doing these things on purpose. But when we start to wake up to our own truth of who we are and who we came here to be, we can begin to explore those, maybe in conversations with someone like you, Coach Pete, or someone like myself, and we can start to discover a second chance in life. And I think that's a really beautiful opportunity.
Absolutely 100% correct. Face into it.
Well, great conversation. I look forward to our next one with breakthrough conversations.
Thanks, Gloria.